Hello students, if you remember in last period we have seen what is linear motion in part of oscillation. That part we have finished. Now today we have to start with what? Angular simple harmonic motion and its differential equation. Just like a linear simple harmonic motion, we have derived the equation, differential equation for particle performing linear simple harmonic motion. In the same way, we are going to derive the equation for angular simple harmonic motion. So before going into the differential equation, first of all, let's see what exactly angular simple harmonic motion. So our topic today is what? Angular simple harmonic motion. If you remember, when we start this chapter, at that time I have told you there are two types of oscillatory motion or vibratory motion. Linear, it is in straight line. To and fro, it is in straight line. Okay, and angular means what? It is a arc type of motion. The motion which repeat itself again and again, that is periodic, but it is angular one in terms of arc. Let's start with this. So in your book they have started this with one of the figure they have given in your book, figure 5.11, that is torsional angular oscillation. What exactly they have done? Torsional means what? Basically it is angular. So what they have done, they have taken this as a rigid support. To this rigid support they have attached this string that either made up of nylon or the wire, and this is attached to the center of one disc. It is attached to the center of one disc, this circular disc. Now what they will do, suppose this is circular disc, okay, according to the book, suppose such type of circular disc it is. So this is circular disc and this is attached to the circular disc. So in this case what will occur that we have to hold it like this, and rotate our hand like this. Hold it and just twist the string or rotate the disc and leave it. When you do this, it will start performing to and fro type of motion. It will start clockwise, anti-clockwise motion, and that motion repeated again and again in equal interval of time, and that is said to be angular motion because it is rotating, going back, again coming to original position, go back, again come to original position. That type of motion is said to be angular simple harmonic motion because it will move along a circle, or we can say arc. That is the angular simple harmonic motion. Apart from this, let's start with the equation of angular circular harmonic motion. Before going into this, just first of all, when we twist the disc, okay, and relieve it try to come to its original position. Why? Because of some restoring forces are created internally in this, and that restoring forces try to move the disc to its original place. That restoring force produced here in the disc try to move the disc to the original place, and that is nothing but what? That is said to be restoring torque. And mathematically that torque can be written by one equation, tau equal to torque, this symbol for torque, tau that we have seen in 11th standard, tau equal to minus c theta, or we can say this torque is directly proportional to theta with a minus sign. Why the minus sign? Because they are opposite. As we twist more, angular displacement is more. Okay, as we twist more, angular displacement is more, and force is exactly in opposite direction. That's why the torque is directly proportional to displacement. Displacement is more, torque is more. But minus sign shows that angular displacement and torque are in opposite direction, and as they are directly proportional, so this type of motion is said to be angular simple harmonic motion. Now let's write the equation. From this we have written that torque T equal to minus C into theta, where C is a constant of proportionality, or it is said to be, just find the value of C from this, torque per unit angular displacement. C constant of proportionality or torque per unit angular displacement. So this is the equation we get. Suppose this is our first equation we have derived for angular motion. Apart from this, we know, if you remember, there is one equation which gives the relation between angular acceleration and moment of inertia. I know that you don't know moment of inertia. Just now you remember moment of inertia is nothing but what? Opposition to rotational motion was measured in terms of one quantity that is said to be moment of inertia, and that moment of inertia represented by I equal to m into r square. M is the mass, r is the distance from the origin. So this m r square is nothing but I, and this I is said to be moment of inertia. It is similar to mass in translational motion. There is a mass. In rotational motion, there is a moment of inertia. We will see in detail later on. First of all, remember this part only. After that, here this alpha is related to moment of inertia. Alpha means angular momentum. So this, angular momentum, not its angular acceleration. Alpha equal to alpha equal to given by one equation, or we can write it in torque. Torque tau equal to I into alpha. This is one of the relation that we are going to derive in one chapter, that at that time we'll see in detail. Just remember now, this relation between torque and angular acceleration and moment of inertia, tau equal to I into alpha. This is one of the equation that you have to remember. Now what is the value of tau here? From equation 1, it is minus c theta. Put it here and try to solve it. So we can write this as I into alpha equal to minus c into theta. Okay, I into alpha equal to minus c into theta. What is alpha? This alpha is said to be angular acceleration, and it is represented by alpha equal to rate of change of angular velocity with time, dw by dt, and w is what? It is d dt of, what is the value of w? What is the value of w then? That we have to write here. I will write that part here. Okay, we can't see there because there is some reflection. So angular acceleration alpha equal to d omega by dt, rate of change of angular velocity. Velocity is what? D dt, as it is. Velocity is what? Rate of change of angular displacement d theta. Theta is the angular displacement. You can write this as d2 theta divided by dt square alpha equal to. And it is similar as we have derived a equal to d2x divided by dt square. Linear acceleration, linear displacement. Angular displacement, angular acceleration. So this value of alpha, you have to put it in this equation and rewrite the equation. You can write the same equation as I into d2 theta divided by dt square, move this term to this side, plus c into theta equal to 0. Plus c into theta equal to 0, and that is equation 5.32 in your book, and this is said to be the differential equation for a particle performing angular simple harmonic motion. So this is a differential equation for a particle performing angular simple harmonic motion. Now from this equation you can find out the acceleration. Just find it out for sake of understanding. So you can write here d2 theta divided by dt square equal to minus c divided by I. Outside the bracket it is theta. Just move the I to this side, move this I to that side, and this term to that side, solve it. You get this value of d2 theta by dt square, and that is said to be alpha, angular acceleration. From this, c is what? Constant of proportionality. I is what? Moment of inertia. It is again constant, so the bracket term constant, so you can write alpha is directly proportional to minus theta, and from this is alpha, this is directly proportional. So alpha is directly proportional to minus theta, which shows that angular acceleration is directly proportional to angular displacement, except the minus sign shows that they are proportional but they are in opposite direction, and that is the definition of angular simple harmonic motion that we have seen. So this is nothing but a angular simple harmonic motion. Apart from this, you can find out time period of angular simple harmonic motion. So how can you find out time period? The formula remains same as we know. T equal to 2 pi divided by omega. What is omega? 2 pi divided by square root of acceleration per unit displacement. Acceleration per unit displacement, and here as it is angular motion, so it is said to be angular acceleration per unit angular displacement. Because it is angular motion, so it is angular displacement per unit, angular acceleration per unit angular displacement. Now let's go to the next point. I hope you got this. It's very simple point, two-step point it is. We have written a torque, then moment of inertia, and moment of inertia related to torque by this equation. Put the value of torque here, solve it, move to one side, we get a differential equation. Now let's go to next. Magnet rotating in a angular motion or in the uniform magnetic field. In that case, how that magnet how it will perform a angular motion, that we have to consider. Magnet vibrating in uniform magnetic field. So how it will perform? So it is magnet vibrating in uniform magnetic field, and it behave as a angular simple harmonic motion. How it is, that we have to see. First of all, I will draw the diagram. Before drawing the diagram, let's start with one basic topic. Suppose this is rigid support. To this rigid support, I have tied the magnet. So magnet, this is a bar magnet we have tied. So you can tie it like this, or another way, you can tie it like this. This is the string, this is the bar magnet. So this position we are going to consider here. Okay. And while when we have hang the bar magnet, in this case to the rigid support, this condition we are going to see. Bar magnet parallel to the string, perpendicular to the string. So when we hang the bar magnet either by these two methods, this we are going to use. Now remember, this is only the bar magnet hang to the rigid support, and this is kept in a magnetic field which is constant. That is said to be uniform magnetic field. What will get occurred? So in your book there is figure 5.12. In that case they have done the same thing. Let's draw the same diagram here. I try to draw the same diagram here. So what they have done initially, they have drawn such type of lines. Equidistant vertical lines represent what? Uniform or constant magnetic field. So these lines which are uniform and exactly equidistant and equiparallel to each other, they represent the uniform magnetic field is applied, and that magnetic field was represented by its strength B, suppose. Now when we put here the bar magnet vertical line, suppose this is bar magnet, I have kept it like this, exactly parallel to the magnetic field. Now I have applied some force to this, displace it by some angle theta to the original position and leave it. What it will do? It will perform this type of motion. It will perform this type of vibrational motion, angular simple harmonic motion, and that we have to prove here, that we have to show here. So according to book, let's start with here. So suppose this is the bar magnet and represented like this. Suppose this is the position, this is the axis of bar magnet, initially it is like this. Now it will make an angle of theta. With its original position. Now at this place, if you remember, already we have learned this part. It can be represented here by a magnetic dipole moment to upward direction and in downward direction. Q into M, here it is Q into M, it is minus, it is plus. Magnetic dipole moment. So that is QM into B actually, because here magnetic field is B we have taken, here minus Q into B we have taken. Okay, pole state actually. So this is nothing but what? Just we have represented, and we know the two poles are separated by a distance of twice L. The magnetic length, it is said to be magnetic length. That part also already we have seen. Now this can be represented when we just rotate this from original position here by this angular displacement theta, leave it. It will perform to and fro type of motion because of restoring force is created, and that restoring force here is said to be restoring torque, and that was represented by one mathematical equation tau equal to that was represented by mathematical equation tau equal to one mathematical equation they have taken mu into B sine of theta. Remember what exactly this mu is? Mu is said to magnetic dipole moment. If you remember, magnetic dipole moment represented by small m, but here they have used the symbol of mu. Why? Because up till now we have used small m for mass of the particle. So to avoid the confusion, just they have used mu as a symbol for magnetic dipole moment. If we compare this equation with the equation in simple pendulum, it goes to extreme position. resolved mg into two components, mg cos theta, mg sin theta. Then we have written the equation F equal to minus mg sin of theta. This is restoring force in simple pendulum. Similarly, this would be the restoring force with minus sign. This would be the restoring force in this magnet placed in uniform magnetic field. I hope you got an idea about this. Let's go further. Now this we have written tau equal to minus mu into b sin theta. Now apart from this, if sin theta is very small, theta equal to 0, sin of 0 is what? It is 0. So we can assume when theta is very small, you can write sin of theta is nearly equal to theta. Put this value here. As theta is very small, sin of theta will be theta. You can put it here and rewrite the equation as tau equal to mu into b into theta with a minus sign. This is the torque. Now why the minus sign? As it will rotate like this. Again come back to original position. So displacement and restoring force come to here. They are in opposite direction. That's why we can say the minus sign is there. In your book they have not taken a minus sign, so you just take that minus sign. Next on they have taken it, but basically it must be initially they must represent it like this minus sign. So this is a torque, and as we know torque will be represented, just we have used the equation tau equal to I alpha. So this can be written as equal to I into alpha. We have used the equation tau equal to I alpha, and as torque equal to this equal to I alpha. From this you can find the value of alpha. So alpha equal to what? It is rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time square twice, because we have just seen that initially. Be equal to what? Minus, find the value of alpha, minus mu dB divide by I in the bracket, outside the bracket theta. See, mu b divided by I into theta. This is the value of angular acceleration, and this says that this bracket term is constant. Mu, magnetic dipole moment, constant. Magnetic field strength, constant. I is moment of inertia, constant. So this implies that alpha is directly proportional to minus theta. Hence, this equation we have proved means what? The motion of the bar magnet is such that the angular acceleration is directly proportional to displacement, and minus sign shows that they are in opposite direction. It means what? It is nothing but a condition for simple angular, we can say angular simple harmonic motion, and that is nothing but a condition is proved, means the motion performed by the magnet kept in a uniform magnetic field, it will perform a angular simple harmonic motion that can be represented here. Apart from this, you can find out time period as we have find out initially. Just I will write down the time period here now. Now equation for time period remains same. Only instead of linear, we should consider the angular motion. So T equal to 2 pi divided by omega equal to 2 pi divided by square root of angular acceleration per unit angular displacement. Just we have written initially this equation. Okay, angular acceleration per unit angular displacement. Now let's see the same from this equation. From this equation, what is the angular acceleration? Alpha. Angular displacement theta. So alpha divided by theta, if you find out angular acceleration per unit angular displacement, it is equal to minus mu b divided by I. If you neglect the magnitude, you can write this as mu b divided by I is angular acceleration per unit angular displacement. Put it here, rewrite the formula. You can write here 2 pi divided by square root of alpha by theta. We have to put here, and this alpha by theta is mu b divided by I. Mu b divided by I. Solve it. You can write the same as 2 pi square root of I divided by mu b. Square root of I divided by mu b, and this is the equation for time period. This is equation for time period of what? Time period of the angular simple harmonic motion that was performed by this magnet. That's it. The same equation they have given in equation 5.34. Below that, the two examples they have solved. In that case, both the examples they have used this formula. So just try to understand it well. Let's go to next topic, and the next topic of our syllabus, that is a damp oscillation. What exactly the damp oscillation means? What? So damp means what? Opposition. When opposition is more, the oscillations or vibrations start getting dissipates. Dissipate means what? It started destroying itself, and that type of oscillations are said to be damp oscillation. Damp oscillations, and oscillator is said to be damp oscillator. So damp oscillation. What exactly damp oscillation means? As time increases, the amplitude of the wave decreases continuously, and that is said to be oscillation with a decreasing amplitude. Oscillation with a decreasing amplitude is said to be damp oscillation. Okay. In case of simple pendulum, as we have moved to this side, suppose this is a mean position, extreme, leave the pendulum, it will perform such type of motion. After 1 hour or 2 hours, what will occur? Its amplitude decreases, and finally it stops to its mean position, and that is said to be damp oscillation, because oscillations are decreasing with time. That type of oscillations are said to be damp oscillation. Oscillation decreases means what? Amplitude of oscillation decreases with time. So that is said to be damp oscillation, and the device is said to be damp harmonic oscillator. So in your book they have just drawn one diagram. So just I will draw the diagram. Here they have drawn such type of rigid support. This is a rigid support they have drawn. Let us suppose this is a rigid support. Rigid support they have taken here. After that, to this rigid support they have tied the spring. So this is the spring tied to rigid support. To the spring they have attached the box, or we can say weight, W equal to mg, or we say to be load, and that is this spring, as we know, spring, and that load is said to be, just they have used the word block of some mass that we have applied the load. Apart from this, to this block or load they have attached the van. This is the van, and this van is kept in a beaker. This van is kept in a beaker which has some liquid. The liquid may be some water, or you can take another type of liquid, doesn't matter. So this is kept in a water. The van was kept in a water, deep in a water. Such type of motion is there. Now what will occur here? Why it is said to be damp? How it will work as a damp? Suppose I have hold the block and move it to downward and leave it. What will occur? As it is spring, it start performing to and fro type of motion, but the motion stop quickly. Why it's so? Because I have just moved downward. It is said to be van. Lot of water comes because it goes deep in the water, and when we leave it, this van has to perform opposite work on this water. It has to come up, apply opposite force. So this van try to stop the block as early as possible, and that type of thing is said to be damping. This van work as a damping. It reduces the amplitude of vibration of the block, and that is said to be damp harmonic. This is said to be set up for damp harmonic oscillator, and here the oscillation given to the block stop quickly because of this oscillator, because of this van, because opposite motion will be there. Now here, now point to be remember, while doing this motion there are three type of forces act here. Three type of forces act. One is said to be damping force. One is said to be damping force, represented by F suffix D. They are said to be damping force. The forces which are responsible to reduce the amplitude. Damping force. This first force get act. At the same time, second force is said to be force due to spring. Act on this block. Damping force. Second, due to the spring. Fs, force due to spring, is equal to minus k into x, where k is a spring constant. This we have seen. And Fd is said to be damping force. Now this damping force can be represented by one mathematical formula. That mathematical formula is nothing but what? Is equal to damping force minus b into v, where v is the velocity of vibration of this block. Velocity of vibration, b is a constant, and as minus sign shows that velocity and the force are opposite direction. Here also this minus sign shows that force and this displacement are in opposite direction. Now let's see, these are the two forces which act on the block. Apart from the third is nothing but what? The force acting due to gravity. Earth has a gravity which will exert some force. But the force due to gravity is very small. So we can neglect this force. So you can neglect this force. So just consider that two forces are acting on the block. One is said to be damping force, other is said to be force due to the spring. So the total force I want to find. So you can write total force equal to Fd plus Fs. Fd plus Fs. According to Newton's second law, F equal to what? Ma. So you can write this as Ma equal to, put the value of Fd minus Bv, put the value of Fs minus Kx. So we get this equation. You move this both the term to this side. Then you can write Ma plus Bv plus Kx equal to 0. Now put the value of A. What is A? Rate of change of velocity means double rate of change of displacement. So you can write this m into, or I will write that part. Yes, I will write it here also. Now, or we can write it here. The next part I will write here. So m as it is, A means what? M as it is, A means what? d2x divided by dt square, plus B as it is, V means velocity, rate of change of displacement. So it is dx by dt plus kx, and that is equal to 0. So I have written this equation. Now this is a differential equation, linear differential equation. This is, those students who have mathematics, they are well known about this. Those don't have mathematics, no need to remember, just you must know this is a linear simple harmonic motion, a damp oscillation, damp harmonic motion. So here this is said to be partial differential equation in mathematics, that you must remember, partial. If you solve this equation, if you see here it is x, so you can solve this equation for x, and after that you can find the value of x. That x is set, the value of x is said to be solution of this equation, and that solution was given in your book in equation 5.236. What is the value of x? If we solve it, its solution is x equal to a e to the power minus bt divided by twice m into cos of omega dash t plus phi. So this is the, we have solved this equation for x, we have find the value of x, find the value of x, find the value of differential equation in terms of x, you get this equation. Out of this, what is this term? This term a e to the power minus bt by twice m, it is said to be amplitude. It is amplitude of damp motion or damp oscillation, amplitude. And in this case, it is exponentially changing, e to the power, exponentially with time, and is minus sign. So we can say the oscillation, in the damp oscillation, the amplitude decreases due to minus sign as exponential function of time. Amplitude decreases as an exponential function of time in damp oscillation. So that they want to explain you here. Apart from this, from this term omega dash t plus phi, they have just shown some value of angular frequency omega dash that you have to remember directly. So omega dash equal to square root of k by m minus b by twice t whole square, b by twice m whole square. So this is omega dash k by m minus b by twice m whole square. You have to remember this. And from this you can find out a time period t equal to 2 pi divided by omega dash. They are not mentioned omega dash in your book. It must be omega dash. You can write here 2 pi. Okay, 2 pi. Here you can write 2 pi divided by omega dash is this square root of k by m minus b by twice m whole square. So this is the time period for particle performing damp harmonic oscillations. So this is nothing but a simple way we have derived damp harmonic oscillator. Just we have seen. Now here there is one figure in your book. They have shown 5.14. In that figure they have shown the wave decreases like this. That is said to be exponential decrease of amplitude because of this term. So I will write that diagram here. To this side I will try to draw the diagram. Just in short I will show you that diagram how the oscillation decreases with the time. So just what they have taken along y-axis like this. It is a displacement. Displacement means amplitude actually. It is plus a here. It would be 0 here, and here it will be minus a. Mean position, extreme and extreme position. So the wave gets created. So initially wave has maximum amplitude, and as time increases, amplitude decreases, and finally it's so small that it becomes horizontal like this. And along this axis what we have taken? Time. We have taken time along this axis. So what you can see here, this amplitude is maximum initially. You should take plus a here. You should take this minus a here. Otherwise we have to draw the bigger diagram. That's it. So amplitude here decreases with the time. Amplitude here decreases with the time. And here this is said to be the graph, which is said to be exponential graph. Amplitude decreases like this. That is said to be exponential decrease of amplitude, exponential decrease of displacement, and these oscillations are said to be damp oscillation, because here as time increases along x-axis, the amplitude get decrease, or we can say damp, because of motion of the van. So this is nothing but a damp harmonic oscillator. Next topic of our syllabus is what? There are two types of oscillations. That why oscillations we have to see: the free oscillations or vibration, and force oscillation, and one another thing is there, that is resonance. Let's start with here free oscillation first. Free oscillation and force oscillation, and along with this the new topic you have to see resonance, that we have to see under this topic. What exactly free oscillation, force oscillation and resonance means? So here in this case, free oscillation means what? Any body oscillating or vibrating with its own frequency, is said to be free oscillation of the body, and the frequency is said to be natural frequency of vibration or oscillation. Suppose imagine that you are seated in the swing. Swing is moving to and fro type of motion, but nobody is there to give us a push from backside. Swing, that swing we have to sit in the swing. Somebody is pushing you from backside, so swing goes like this. Push it, goes like this. Suppose we are alone, we don't have anyone to push it from backside. So when we sit in the swing, and just yourself, you have to change your position like this, up and down like this, move your legs up, move your head back, so you can take a swing like this. Swing is moving, and this frequency is said to be natural frequency of the swing. After some time, amplitude decreases, finally swing gets stopped. This vibration or oscillations are said to be free vibration, because nobody has applied the force or frequency. But apart from this, the small children are there. In that case, small child gets seated in the swing. His parent is standing behind him, and every time the parent push the swing. Swing goes up, again swing come back, again the parent push the force. So this type of thing, as every time this parent is applying constant force on the swing, due to this the amplitude of the swing never gets changed. Why? Every time the parent is applying the force, so amplitude never get changed, and that type of oscillations or vibrations are said to be force vibration, because we are applying the force here every time. Force vibration or force oscillation, and the frequency is said to be force frequency other than the natural frequency. So these are the two things we have seen. Same thing they have mentioned here. They have given the value of frequency also, but no need to give the value of frequency. Still they have given. Now what they have done, that they have just taken example of the pendulum, as pendulum we have moved to one side, leave it. It will perform to and fro type of motion. After some time it will stop. That motion is said to be pre-oscillation, free vibration of simple pendulum, and the frequency with which it is vibrating, it is said to be natural frequency. After that, this same simple pendulum, when we move it to this side and leave it, it comes here, apply the constant force. Again goes, again come here, again apply the constant force. That type of oscillations or vibrations are said to be force vibration or force oscillation, and frequency of oscillation is other than the natural frequency, and that is said to be force frequency sometime. Let's go with one of the example as they have taken in your book. With that example, what they have done, they have taken a two rigid support, such type of two rigid support they have taken, and to this two rigid support they have tied one string. This is initially here, the initial position would be straight line. Now why it get bulk, that we will see. As we are going to attach 4 pendulum to the string, initially we have tied it taut and straight, but when we apply some pendulum here at one place, here it is second, here it is third, here it is 4. Due to weight of this pendulum, this get bent, string get bent or slack toward downward direction. Now the first pendulum here it is attached, and here that is the first pendulum. I will represent it by dark. It is a pendulum A. It is a pendulum A. Here it is a second pendulum. Here it is said to be second pendulum, and that is pendulum B. Here it is a third pendulum exactly equal to the first one A, and this is said to be pendulum C. Here it is the last pendulum which is longer than all, and that is said to be pendulum D. Now if we see what is the difference here. Here the 4 pendulums A, B, C, D that they have taken, they have attached with the string. But remember, the length of the simple pendulum A and C is same. They have same length, suppose. You are not going to see the same here, but suppose they have the same. Why we are not going to see? Because this is bulk here. So this is found to be a little bit larger than this. Let us suppose we have taken both the pendulums such that both the pendulum has same length. So you can just move it little bit downward, so that you can see both the lengths are same. Let us suppose pendulum A and C, yes, A and C have the same length. B is shorter in length and D is larger in the length. The length of the string is large, they have the same, this is small. Okay, and this attached to the one single string, that is attached to the two rigid support. Due to the weight, it comes down or slacks. Now this pendulum A consists of sphere. It is made up of solid rubber, and all remaining these 3, they are just this B, C and D. These are the bobs made up of hollow rubber. Hollow rubber sphere these are. This is solid rubber sphere. Now this pendulum A is said to be driving pendulum. Now let's what we have to do. Don't give any force to B, C and D. Just hold the pendulum A, move it here and leave it. It will perform such type of motion, oscillations. It will perform such type of oscillation. Go toward the blackboard, come away from the blackboard. Such type of oscillation. After some time, it is seen that energy of pendulum A transfer to B, C and D. Energy of pendulum A transfer to B, C and D, as well as its frequencies also transfer to B, C and D. Now the frequency of the sphere A or pendulum A is said to be natural frequency. It is vibrating with a natural, its own frequency. But the frequency of B, C and D is said to be other than the natural, artificial, other than natural, or we can say force frequency. So when we move this to one side, leave it start performing oscillation. After some time, the pendulum B, C and D also start performing same type of oscillation. Automatically they will start, because energy get transferred from A to the string, to this string, then B, then go to C, then go to C. While doing this, it is seen that this frequency of A and C would be exactly equal. Why? Because they have the equal length. So their frequency is same, they vibrate with the same amplitude. Amplitude of B is maximum because it is shorter in length. Amplitude of D is small because it is large in length. So this is nothing but one of the best example to explain the free oscillation A force oscillation B and D. C is vibrating with this A, so both have the natural frequency same, and they are said to be free oscillation. B and D are said to be force oscillation. Now what exactly resonance here? This resonance we have to see. So see, as the length of pendulum C and that of A is same, so when we give the energy to the pendulum A, same energy C acquired after some time. It will acquire same energy, same amplitude, same frequency, and that is said to be resonance. Both have the same frequencies, so that is said to be resonance. In short, resonance is the phenomenon where the two frequency match together, so the resultant frequency is maximum. The two frequency match together. Resonance is the phenomenon where two frequency match together, so that at this frequency both frequencies are same, amplitude get increased, and that is said to be resonance. Might be you are well known about in radio we know there's one knob. Just by pushing that knob, rotating that knob, you can tune another station, another radio station. What exactly we are going to tune? Tuning means what? We are changing the frequency. Match the frequency 98.3, you hear the 98.3 FM. If you go to 101.1, you can hear the Vividh Bharati station. So 101, 98.3, these are the frequencies. We are matching the two frequencies. Frequency get matched, you can see the louder voice. See, sometime in radio, you can see at the same frequency, you can hear two songs. One with a loud voice. At the same time, at the same position, louder voice song is there, as well as at the same time, same frequency, another song at the same station with a small voice. That is what mismatch of frequency. So when you tune the tuning of that radio, as you can hear the voice initially smaller, at certain frequency you can hear very nice and clear voice. After that, if we go further ahead, you can see the voice get decreased, the frequency of song get decreased, amplitude get decreased, it become distorted. So at certain frequency in the radio, you can hear loudly clear voice of that song, and where that will occur, that is said to be the two frequency match together, and that phenomenon is said to be resonance. That's it. So this is nothing but a resonance, and we have seen the free oscillation, force oscillation, and resonance. Apart from this, in your book they try to explain the same in resonance in terms of one diagram. What they have done, they have taken amplitude square along y-axis, amplitude square along y-axis, and frequency along x-axis. At certain frequency here somewhere, when frequency applied is equal to the frequency of that natural frequency of that body, or we can say resonant frequency, then you can see you get such type of plot. What does it mean? At the frequency other than this FR, what will occur? Amplitude is small. At the frequencies higher than FR, amplitude is small. Exactly at the frequency equal to resonant frequency, you get a maximum amplitude sound. In case of radio, we get a sound, and this phenomenon at this part is said to be resonance. So at resonance, we get a maximum amplitude, and that is nothing but this. So this is in this fashion we have completed this chapter, oscillation. Now this is the last video of my video for this chapter. In next period we will start the new chapter, and new chapter maybe we are not going to serial manner. We are going to the easiest one earlier. So we have completed the semiconductor. Okay, now we have completed the oscillation chapter also in this video. Now we will go to the next chapter. Might be the current electricity we will take. Jump to the current electricity or magnetism. Okay, so just watch this video, and once you have any problem with understanding, you know my mobile number, you can just contact me or you can just message me. I will definitely give you the reply, and if you have any problem, you can ask me on that. But remember, every time when I upload the video, you must watch it first and then read the same topic from the book, then the clarity becomes much more. Okay, I hope you got this better way. I tried my best to explain you this chapter, oscillation. Similar way, I will go to the next topic, and I will try to explain you the next topic also. Now let's start in next video. We'll start a new chapter. So up till now, just you prepared yourself well for this chapter, and just try to solve the numerical, try to understand the solve numerical, and then go for exercise. I hope you can do that. So do well and be safe. Thank you.